Hey there, it's Mallory here with All About Cats. In this video, we're going to be talking about litter boxes and doing a roundup of our top 12 recommendations for the best litter boxes you can buy. So a while back, We're All About Cats published a complete guide to the best litter boxes on the market. And in order to write that guide, I spent quite a bit of time researching litter boxes, learning about the different types of litter boxes, and identifying which qualities set a good litter box apart from the rest. And so based on that information, I've chosen the upcoming 12 litter boxes as the best on the market. And then we bought all of these litter boxes independently, and over the last couple of weeks, I've been testing them out with my two cats. I've been evaluating them on things like cat comfort, their ability to contain litter and waste, and how easy each of these litter boxes is to clean. So based on that research and hands-on experience, I'm going to be telling you all about each of these litter boxes and how I think each of them will appeal to a different type of person and feline household. So the very first litter box that we're going to be talking about is our number one recommendation, which is an uncovered litter box called the BetterBox. So this litter box was created by Fusion, and it promises to be a non-stick, super sturdy, really superior litter box. So the litter box is just a basic uncovered plastic box that's made from ABS plastic, which is the same type of plastic that is used to make Legos. It feels really sturdy and it has a great shape. It's very easy to handle, and my cats really seem to like it. So of all the litter boxes that I tried, this was the one that my cats seemed the most drawn to. They used it really heavily, even though they had plenty of options. Now, the BetterBox is a little bit more expensive than most. It costs $39.95, so it's, again, a little bit more pricey than most. Our runner-up is another basic plastic uncovered litter box, and it's Frisco's high-sided litter box. So I got the jumbo edition of this litter box, and it was indeed very, very large. So it's a really big litter box that's going to be a good fit for you if your cats have a tendency to scatter a ton of litter or go over the edge. I don't think that's going to happen with this litter box unless, of course, your cats aim to that entryway. I found that the Frisco high-sided litter box was a cinch to clean. My cats seemed to welcome it. They seemed to use it readily. Overall, it was just a really good uncovered litter box that did everything that you would want this type of litter box to do. So compared to the BetterBox that was our top recommendation, this litter box definitely feels a bit cheaper. The plastic material is a little bit more flexible, and it is indeed a more affordable litter box. So on Chewy, you can buy the jumbo-sized high-sided litter box for $15.99. Our next recommendation is going to be a good option if you're looking for a good litter box on a budget. So for $11.99, the Nature's Miracle high-sided litter box offers really outstanding performance. It does everything that you would want an uncovered litter box to do at a really good price. So what I found most interesting about this litter box is that it's flexible and it has little handles on the side, which makes it very easy to pour out of the entryway, which doubles as a spout. My cats used this litter box right away, and I found that it was pretty easy to scoop. I didn't notice a lot of sticking in my short test, and overall it just seemed to work quite well. Our next recommendation is going to be a good option if you prefer a covered litter box. Now, I would typically recommend an uncovered litter box just because they're easier to clean, but in general, cats don't typically seem to show a preference for covered or uncovered litter boxes, and covered litter boxes can be a good option if you want something a little bit more discreet. So if covered litter boxes are your thing, I would recommend Petphabet's litter box with a lid. So this is a bright, colorful, plastic covered litter box that has a transparent lid. So this means that you can easily monitor what's going on in the litter box, and it also gives your cat some visibility when they're inside of the litter box. It has a wide sort of doorway that allows you to easily reach in and scoop without taking the lid off, and it doesn't have any ridges on the inside that might collect litter. So overall, it's very easy to clean, cats seem to be comfortable in there. It's nice and spacious, and it's just a really good option if you prefer a covered litter box. Now, in addition to uncovered and covered litter boxes, you have another type of litter box called a top entry litter box. This can be a really good option if you have a multi-pet home and dogs that have a tendency to steal some treats out of your cat's litter box. A top entry litter box can be very helpful for keeping dogs out, and it also is a more visually subtle way to give your cat a toilet in the home. Top entry litter boxes really disguise the litter, and sometimes they don't even look like a litter box. That's certainly the case with the Modkat litter box, which is our top entry litter box. Now, the Modkat litter box costs almost $90, so it's quite an investment, but it has a lot of really thoughtful features. First of all, it looks fantastic. The litter box has a very subtle, beautiful shape and design. It features a locking swivel lid, so you can easily lift up that lid and access the litter without removing the lid entirely and then having to struggle to put it back on, like you'll experience with some other top entry litter boxes. The litter box comes with its own scoop and a notch where you can hang that scoop. That works really well. Inside of the Modkat top entry litter box is a nice liner bag. So that liner bag helps to extend the longevity of the litter box itself by preventing any sticking and residue in the litter box. It's easy to remove that liner when it's time to get rid of all of that litter, and then you can easily put it back in. Overall, I found the experience with the Modkat litter box to be excellent. I was surprised to find that my cats willingly went into it and used it. And it was easy to clean, easy to handle, and I thought it looked really beautiful. So overall, the Modkat top entry litter box is an outstanding option if you're interested in investing in a really well-designed top entry litter box. But if you're on a budget and you still want a top entry litter box but don't want to pay almost $90 for it, you might consider the Iris top entry litter box. So this litter box costs under $21. It's spacious as far as top entry litter boxes go, and it has a pretty good design. Unlike the Modkat litter box, the Iris top entry litter box doesn't have that locking swivel lid. Instead, you're going to have to take the lid off entirely every time that you want to access the litter. I found that this was a little bit difficult. It usually took a few attempts to get the lid back on. It doesn't always seat exactly the way that you would want it to. The Iris litter box, like the Modkat litter box, comes with a scoop, but I found that the Iris scoop was not quite as large or as effective as the one that came with the Modkat litter box. It also doesn't have a little notch for hanging, so it was a little bit more tricky to hang it on the litter box for storage. In terms of performance, the Iris top entry litter box did everything well. Again, I was surprised to find that my cats willingly used this litter box. When it was time to scoop, everything went well. There wasn't a lot of sticking. It was overall a smooth and easy experience. Our next recommendation is our favorite sifting litter box. So this is Arm & Hammer's large sifting litter pan. So the idea of a sifting litter box is that essentially it takes your scoop and it builds it into the litter box itself. So this litter box has 3 different layers, essentially 2 ordinary litter boxes and 1 sifting pan. So I used the Arm & Hammer sifting pan with both a clumping corn-based litter, and it worked really, really well with that. I found that the sifting process was very smooth, there wasn't any sticking, everything went very, very well. But when I used it with the pine pellet litter, things were a little bit more messy. This could have just been my fault for being a bit messy, but I noticed that there was a lot of sawdust scattered around the litter box after I was done. And if I was using a larger litter box, I think that this might not have happened. Which brings me to my next point, which is that even though this litter box is called a large litter pan, it's actually pretty small. So while this litter box has some really great strengths, especially if you absolutely hate scooping or you're using a type of litter that makes a sifting box particularly useful, I think that its small size is going to be a deal breaker for most households. This litter box costs just under $17, so it's a moderately priced litter box. Our next recommendation is my favorite litter box for multiple cat homes, Petmate's Giant Litter Pan. So when they call this a giant litter pan, they aren't kidding. I was shocked when I got the box. I'd reviewed this litter box before and I knew that it was big, but nothing had prepared me for the experience of actually opening it up and seeing this litter box. So in addition to being with a huge litter capacity, you can put up to 30 pounds of litter and maybe even more in this litter box. The litter box is also equipped with a couple nice little caddies. So this makes it easy to store your litter scoops and other litter box supplies right there where you need them. Now the Petmate Giant Litter Pan does have a curved front that could make scooping a little bit tricky. I found it a tiny bit uncomfortable when I was working through the litter, but overall it seemed to work really well. It's also quite affordable, so you're getting a lot of litter box for just over $15. Now, what if you don't have a very big cat? You have a kitten. Really, kittens don't particularly need a different litter box than do adult cats. But if you are looking for a more accessible litter box that your kitten's little legs can get them into, I would consider the Lucky Champ Litter Pan. The Lucky Champ Litter Pan has this really interesting design that gives it a high back to contain all the litter and waste, and then it slopes down to a very, very low front entrance point. While this low entrance point is great for accessibility, I did find that there was some urine right there on that entryway and a lot of litter coming out of the front. So you really have to decide whether or not that added accessibility is going to be worth it for you. And besides that highly accessible design, the Lucky Champ Litter Pan seemed to work really well. It seems to be made from very robust, sturdy materials. It feels like it really could last for a cat's entire lifetime. And I found that it was quite easy to scoop and didn't have a lot of sticking going on. The litter box is moderately priced at around $17. Now, so far, all of these litter boxes have required some sort of manual cleaning, whether it's sifting or using a scoop. But what if you would prefer to not have to handle the litter at all? You would rather someone or something else take care of it for you. If that's you, I would recommend the PetSafe ScoopFree automatic litter box. So this litter box takes advantage of the dehydrating abilities of silica gel crystals and pairs it with a simple raking mechanism. So the litter box automatically rakes across a bed of silica gel crystals, which have already dehydrated and deodorized everything that's in there, and then scrapes it into a little compartment where it's stored until you're ready to change out your litter tray. I found that the PetSafe ScoopFree worked very impressively. I found that the odor control was outstanding, and it was just a really hassle-free solution to the whole litter box situation. Now, I did notice that there were a couple of little particles left there in the pan, but fortunately, because it uses that silica gel litter, there wasn't really any odor involved, and it had all been dehydrated. Compared to other automatic litter boxes, which are so often prone to jamming and malfunctions and other problems, the ScoopFree has a pretty good reputation. It's one of the few self-cleaning litter boxes that really seems to do exactly what it's supposed to fairly consistently. Now, I have read some reviews saying that the litter tends to get saturated too quickly if you have a multiple cat home or a cat who's urinating more than most. But I think in most homes with a moderate amount of use, the PetSafe ScoopFree should work pretty well. As you would imagine, this litter box is a little bit more expensive than the rest of the ones on this list at $129.95. Our second to last recommendation is the best disposable litter box. So if you're fostering cats or you've just taken in a kitten temporarily and you don't want to invest in a real litter box that's going to last for years, you might think about using a disposable litter box. So these litter boxes are made from recycled paper and infused with baking soda, which promises to neutralize odors and keep the litter box feeling pretty fresh. One of these litter boxes should last one cat for about a month, and they're just a good short-term solution. Now, I ultimately would not recommend the regular size disposable litter boxes from Nature's Miracle. This litter box was pretty tiny, and not only was it barely large enough for my cats to even stand in, there was quite a bit of scatter. That said, it worked quite well. The material is very sturdy, and it didn't seem to be, disintegrating or anything that you might imagine when you think of a paper litter box. It's just a sturdy, decent litter box that can last for up to a month with one cat using it. A 3-pack of these litter boxes costs just over $7 on Chewy. Finally, our last recommendation is one that you see right here behind me. It's the Good Pet Stuff Hidden Litter Box. So this litter box is intended to look like a potted plant, and that's why we recommend it as the best litter box for small apartments, small spaces, and people who don't like the look of a litter box in their home. In addition to being a nice, spacious, covered litter box, it also has a ventilation system, which helps to control the amount of odors building up inside. This covered litter box costs $56.99 right now on Amazon, so it's a little bit more expensive than a lot of the other products on this list. But I think that for people who are living in smaller homes or who really want to disguise their litter box, it could be a really good value. All right, so that's it. We've gotten through our list of the top 12 best litter boxes you can buy. If you're interested in checking out any of the products mentioned here, take a look at the description. There will be links to all of them located there. And while you're in the description, you'll also see a link to our complete buyer's guide, and that's going to go into much, much greater depth on everything about litter boxes. So you learn all about the different types of litter boxes, how each of those types will appeal to a different person and a different household. You'll learn about which qualities are essential in a good litter box, and you'll get more details on each of the products mentioned here. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that it brought you a little bit closer to finding the perfect litter box for your cat and your home. Thanks again. Bye.